There are various places you can find on the Stout Directors Railway, but none of these are as popular as the seaside. A little branch line travels to these beaches, and Eddie, the old engine, runs it. Although he's begun to tire of the heavy trains jam-packed with passengers, especially during the summertime when demand is high. One day, Eddie reached a point where he couldn't resist complaining to others.
These trips along the seaside line are so tiring. My coaches are filled to the brim with people, making my coaches heavy.
That's because you're old.
The Stout Director should put you in a retirement home.
No, Gregory. I think he should be scrapped.
Those engines.
The teasing wouldn't stop and didn't help at all. Eventually, Eddie had to speak to the Stout Director.
The seaside trains are wearing me out. The summer heat, the heavy passengers, and to add to that, the big engines keep teasing me about it.
I'm sorry, Eddie. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do about it. Everyone is too busy to help you with your trains. You'll just have to deal with the workload yourself. And Eddie did exactly that, though he didn't want to. One day, nothing changed. Eddie stopped at all of the stations along the line and rested in the siding at the end of the line before turning around and going back. Until...
What the?
The ground below Eddie began to sink.
Help! I'm sinking!
Eddie sank so far that he couldn't get out. Just then, his driver and fireman arrived after getting refreshments.
Gasp! Eddie, are you all right?
Well, clearly not. Can't you see I'm in a hole?
How do we suppose we get him out there, Clarence? He's got to make a return journey in 12 minutes.
We're so getting fired for this. Soon, Norman arrived with the crane and the Stout Director. Eddie, you've caused me a massive load of problems that I don't know how to fix. I'm going to get a lot of complaints from angry passengers and possibly some legal troubles because you decided to pull this stunt.
I didn't do any of this. How does a stationary engine intentionally cause a sinkhole to appear directly under it?
All right. You two.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You weren't nearby to prevent this from happening. You two are grounded from operating engines for a week.
Oh.
Listen here, sir. This wasn't my fault, or their fault, or anyone's fault. This was just a natural occurrence that nobody could have predicted or caused.
Oh. Well then. You two aren't grounded anymore.
Phew.
So, now what? Got to take these passengers back in 2 minutes.
Don't worry about getting me out of here. Let Norman take the return journey and then worry about me at the end of the day. We cannot waste any more time.
Great idea, Eddie. Clarence, Sanders, stay with Eddie. He needs some company. And you, Norman, go couple up to Eddie's train. Forget about the crane.
Ooh, yay! I get to pull passengers.
Well then, you've just solved almost all these problems at sinkhole cars within minutes. It's gonna be a long day, so get comfortable.
I'll try.
When Norman stopped at the big station, Gregory was there waiting for Eddie's passengers. He was very confused when he saw Norman. Where's Eddie? Did he break down? It's about time he does.
No, he's in a hole right now.
Oh, okay. But what a hole!
Yeah, he's taking a hole off frog birth. I have to take his passengers for the rest of the day.
You cannot be serious.
Dead serious.
That is the funniest thing ever. I have to tell the others. And he did just that. He told every engine he met on his trip. And they told everyone they saw. Meanwhile, Eddie sat in the hole. What do you expect? The screw was putting out his fire. Because, of course, they had nothing else to do.
You know what, guys?
What?
About that break I've been longing for. I think this is it. It's far from what I expected, but I'm loving it.
You're right. This is pretty nice. Let's all enjoy this while we can.
Throughout the rest of the day, Eddie occasionally saw Norman. And Norman sat nearby Eddie to talk. When evening came, the sky became many bright colors as the sun set. As soon as the sun fell behind the horizon, Norman arrived.
I'm done. Now, it's time to get you out of there.
It wasn't long before Eddie was freed from the hole and ready to head home. Norman offered to pull his trains the next day while Eddie got repaired. By the time Eddie returned to the sheds, everyone was already there.
Hey, look, it's Eddie.
Let's tease him.
Hello there, Eddie. How was your Hollowday?
I enjoyed it very much. Thanks for asking.
The engines kept teasing him, but Eddie had already fallen asleep. The coaches were still full, the weather hot, and the big engines kept teasing. But Eddie is happier.